My friends, the year is 2022. We are in the month of June and we're just a few months away from the November elections, and Democrats are losing their minds. You have Democrats that are still acting like it's the 1950s. You have Democrats that are still acting like we don't have a civil rights legislation that we have not overcome. As a matter of fact, they've got absolutely nothing to run on. They can't talk about the economy. They can't talk about a border. They can't talk about crime. They can't even talk about baby formulas. They're failing all around. So, in this crisis for the Democrat Party, what are they running on? Well, you got one gentleman out in Kentucky named Charles Booker who is actually running on race. He cut a campaign commercial in which he actually put a noose around he put a noose around his neck and tried to bring back the memories, had you drink from the cup of sorrows of the era of American history in which black people were being lynched. Black people were being lynched by white people. That's what he wants you to drink deep of. I want to show you this commercial before I take on his premise. This commercial is the most disturbing campaign commercial that I've seen in a very long time, maybe ever. It's so disturbing, it even has a warning at the top so that you don't make the mistake of being caught off guard, so that you are actually prepared for what you're about to see. Prepare yourself. This is like he's gone full Bubba Wallace, full Bubba Wallace. Only he puts the noose around his neck. Check this out.
The pain of our past persists to this day. In Kentucky, like many states throughout the South, lynching was a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. It was used to kill my ancestors. Now, in a historic victory for our Commonwealth, I have become the first Black Kentuckian to receive the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. My opponent, the very person who compared expanded health care to slavery. The person who said he would have opposed the Civil Rights Act. The person who single-handedly blocked an anti-lynching act from being federal law. The choice couldn't be clearer. Do we move forward together? Or do we let politicians like Rand Paul forever hold us back and drive us apart? In November, we will choose healing. We will choose Kentucky.
Wow. Wow. We will choose healing. We will choose Kentucky. That was crazy. That was the height of revisionist history. And what Brother Charles needs to understand is that that period, that dark period in American history where Americans of African descent were being lynched, well, they were being lynched by Democrats. They weren't being lynched by Republicans, especially Republicans like Ron Paul. What's so crazy to me is how the left has been able to get away with projecting their actions on the Republican Party. It was the Ku Klux Klan, the militant arm of the Democrat Party, that conducted the bulk of the lynchings in this country. It was the Klan trying to intimidate Americans of African descent, Jews, and whoever else were voting for the Republican Party. Please remember that the black folks in America were voting for the Republican Party from the 1890s until the 1930s, primarily because the Republican Party was the party of freedom. It was the party that freed the slaves. It was the party of Lincoln. For this man to put a noose around his neck and try to act like Republicans were guilty of this throughout the ages is preposterous. For him to act like that lynchings are still going on today is absurd. Here's the bottom line. This Democrat African American is running solely on the color of his skin, based on the color of his skin. He's got nothing. He can't talk about baby formula. He can't talk about taxes. He can't talk about the economy. He can't talk about inflation. So, no, he's running on race. And he wants you to believe that Rand Paul is a racist. This is absurd beyond belief. And it is another example of how you have still a large number of Americans of African descent that are drinking deep from the racial cup of sorrows, a cup of sorrows that they continue to perpetuate. Notice, he didn't have any images of Republicans putting the noose around black folks' necks. He put the noose around his own neck and then blamed Republicans for doing it. Our ancestors, felt the brunt of this racism. Yeah, they did. But it was racism from the Democrat Party. This is so low. This is digging so deep that it shows you how desperate the Democrat Party is. You've got Democrats leaving the Biden administration in droves. They're calling it Blaxit. Unlike Blexit, where blacks are leaving the Democrat Party, we're being told that Joe Biden got the black vote. He got 87% of African Americans vote in this country. Right now, that number is at 67%. You got more black people running for the office as a Republican right now than you have probably since Reconstruction. There's been a sea change. And this guy is on the wrong side of history. Whoa, 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 whoa. He's on the wrong side of revisionist history. And I think that this is going to blow up in his face. And I have to tell you, good. My name is James Sierras. This is my YouTube channel. Go ahead and do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends about it. Hit that notification bell. And every time we put up a new video, you will be notified. Gosh, I'm telling you, we're living in very interesting time. But I really do believe that fissure that appeared between Americans of African descent and the Democrat Party is beginning to widen. And you know what? I think that is part and partial. It's probably because of the good times that we experienced under the Trump administration. Everything that Biden has promised to BIPOCs has turned to excrement, has turned to bullshiggity, and people are realizing that. And you know what? You can have a guy with orange hair with bad tweets, but when the economy is smoking, who cares? Now the economy is tanking, and I don't care what the Democrats come up with. I don't care what new slogan they come up with. American people are not going to respond because they're not dealing with the problems. And Charles Butler over there in Kentucky playing the race card, well, you're about to find out just how much that's not going to work. Until we meet again, here we go.